Ross, this should be quite something.
I have been suggesting this for I don't know weeks.
Yeah. This one
Um,
needs a
there we go. Are we over here?
problem. This one.
What's that even mean? No, it's not right. This is what we're doing.
I'm well lit. My girlfriend bought me a pair of shorts today, and I'm wearing them right now. Would you like to see my shorts?
Just funny.
Yes.
My wife bought. Well, in fact, she theoretically bought this for her, but I'm wearing it anyway.
The Star Wars T-shirt.
Because here's how clever I am. I changed shirts. Technically, to drink a black IPA, I was thinking of going all kind of like poetic whatnot. If I owned a black beret and a black turtleneck, I would be wearing both right now. But
Wow.
so the best I could do, and I was looking through to see if I had just a black T-shirt. So I thought, black IPA's got to go for the black theme. And then when I was describing what we were doing tonight, and I think I said, we're doing the dark side of IPAs because it's the black is the dark side.
Shirt.
And just the other day, we are 3 days past. May the 4th be with you. So it all happens perfect circle. It all comes together exactly perfect so that we can do a delightful, wonderful Star Wars-ish themed.
I'm gonna have to go change my T-shirt then, aren't I?
I mean, can if you want to. You don't have to.
Well, of course I do. If you're doing it.
I'm hoping you've got a T-shirt of that. Have you ever seen that picture? It's like a rock concert, but everyone in the rock concert is a character from Star Wars. There's Luke Skywalker and there's Darth Vader doing a guitar solo.
No.
And I think the caption for the caption for the picture is, "No matter what you do in life, you will never be as awesome as this poster." I do like it. I've got. I don't even know what that is. That's going over there.
I don't like my Star Wars T-shirts. I don't blame her. I mean, they're a bit scruffy, and maybe I'm a little old for Star Wars, but
Luckily, this one is newish. This one being newish, so I'm okay. But it looks sort of spiff. A bit.
here we go. This is mine. Got stuff going on there. There's the Death Star, and some.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
It's all there.
Yeah, that's good. There we go. We're in Star Wars mode. That's awesome.
So it's May the 4th. It's the dark side of IPAs. It's the black IPAs. This and the dead of space, whatnot, etc., etc., etc. Works out perfectly fine.
Yes. Although you can't see my T-shirt now, of course, because I mean yours actually says Star Wars. Mine says it, but it's down there.
Well, I mean, you can't really see mine either, so
Okay.
doesn't matter so much.
All right, mate. I am all ready.
It's okay. Good. I'm trying to figure out how I can make this go live. Oh, okay. It says we're live.
Just gonna put it on the back of it. On the back of it, Becca.
Oh,
Back of it, Becca.
okay. If we're view in live control room, this is the one I want. Connecting, blah 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 blah. Okay, yeah, good. We've been live for a minute or two. Fine. God, I'm glad you're ready because we've been live.
I've just noticed star backwards. I do this for some reason. Well, I'm sure that's been noted before. Rats.
Yep.
Rats.
Rat straw.
Yeah. Rat straw.
That's the thing. It's probably fine.
Good night. That's all we
Yeah,
got
that's
time for.
that's enough out of us. We're out of here.
When people say I was today years old when I heard that or learned that, people say that a lot. Well,
you were today years old when you learned that star backwards was
Star.
rats. Tell me you
Yes.
know the Weird Al song Bob.
I'll tell you that, but I don't.
Have
Should
you?
I? I was just weirdly on that very note. What a weird connection. Come back to that. Um, I hung out with Tim, as you know, on Friday because we kind of saw you on Saturday. I think was it Sunday? I can't remember now.
Sunday.
Playing together in yeah, and we watched the Weird Al movie with Harry Potter.
I
And if
haven't sat down to watch that because I have no idea what sort of mindset I need to be in to see it.
okay, well, the first time I watched it was with Rebecca. Maybe I don't know. Was it a year, 18 months ago?
It's been out
And
a
there was
while.
bits of it we missed. I think we'd had a cookie, and I think we missed bits of it, and I fell asleep watching it again the other night. But it's really good. It's really good, really good fun, tongue in cheek, and I think if you're a Weird Al fan, and I'm not. If you are a Weird Al fan, I think you'll love it. And I'm not a fan, and I still enjoyed it.
Did you ever see UHF?
No, I've heard of it.
Okay. Anyway, so the one I'm talking about, Bob, is he.
No.
You know how he usually he japes or satirically does modern music. You know, whatever's kind of the hit at the moment. So he did an old Bob Dylan song. He did, I think it was Subterranean Homesick
Yeah.
Blues or whatnot.
Yeah.
But and he did the video. It was the music video for Subterranean Homesick Blues of Bob Dylan, the black and white, and it's him and the Bob Dylan hair in the alley, and he's tearing off the page, and he's plonking down the pages, and written on each one is a line in the song, and the song is nothing but no, not anagrams. What's the one where it's the same back to front?
Palindromes.
Palindromes. Every single line in the song is a palindrome, and he sings it, and he holds it up, and they're all there.
Wow.
And so, because of that, I know so many palindromes now.
That's crazy. I will check that out. You know that he delivers those lines like some early day Eminem rapper. He's like Liam Patterson on acid when he's singing really, really fast. Has he ever done? Has Weird Al ever taken then? It's the end of the world as I know it, and done something with that.
Not that I know of. I guess the fastest one, or his fastest speech one I can think of would be White and Nerdy. Instead of Riding Dirty, it's a rap tune, but he's singing about being a total nerd with like pocket protectors and stuff. Look at me, I'm white and nerdy.
Oh, Ross, that's your song, surely.
I'm not that. He's much nerdier than I am. I went and played live music and enjoyed myself, so that was slightly different. Anywho, we are live and wasting time. Well, not wasting time, but we're not quite at the brewerages yet. But if we are all set, ready, sound check for yourself.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5.
Works
Once I
delightfully.
got it live.
We are all good. The only thing that worries me is that I haven't found any descriptions for either of these. We're just going in raw.
Winging it.
Yeah, I have
That's
no
good.
idea. No idea with these. I am Ross. Joining me is my co-host Ian, and together with kind of an accidental Star Wars parallel, we are attempting to drink Nova Scotia Dry. And yes, we did both, maybe possibly both, very recently decide to change into Star Wars clothing, because I realized that in doing Black IPAs very close to May the 4th, it should be a Star Wars idea. I think I just made the title Star Wars themed, and that's
The loosest theme ever for anything ever, because it's somewhat close to May the 4th, which has become weirdly a Star Wars day because it sounds a bit like it. And these are both black bottles, and that's good enough then.
Yeah.
For you to say this is the Star Wars episode.
Absolutely. I just sort of decided, well, because the other option was I was going to go all beatnik poetry with like a black turtleneck and a beret, but I didn't have that part of the uniform. And oddly enough, I had some Star Wars clothing. But black IPAs, I first had one of these from Lund's Mill, and it was called the Eclipse Black IPA. And every time I have one, I am sold. This is just this is what I think all IPAs should taste like this. And I've looked it up. What is a black IPA? Essentially, it's a typical IPA recipe, but utilizing darker malts.
Malts.
So that tends to change the color to a darker color. It also brings more roasted and toasty and caramel and even chocolate or coffee notes to the beer. And this combined with a heavy dosing of the hops is what creates these unique beers. So it's Flavor Town, Flavor Country. And that's usually what happens. And I'm hoping that we're not being disappointed again. We shall see. But luckily, as I go into the established mall, I went into Schoolhouse Brewery. This one is so new, it's not even on their website. This is the Blackboard Black IPA, sticking with, and you got to give them all the respect for this, sticking with the school and the Schoolhouse theme. There it is behind me in the picture. But the Blackboard IPA, I do like that they stay on theme. And it is a jet black can.
Straight away there about the name. Now, I don't want to stray into No, it's okay. Don't worry about it. We used to call them blackboards at school, blackboard, chalk, and by all accounts, they moved away from calling them blackboards and called them chalkboards. Did they not?
Yes, I have heard that. Not even in the way that a lot of them stopped being dark, like a black color. They started being kind of a greenish color.
Absolutely.
If I remember growing up.
It's become that. I got to admit, when I was reading the name of it, I thought blackboard. I almost haven't heard the term used for years, because I think all at school, I think most people use don't even use chalkboards anymore. They probably use these big whiteboards, and when they can wipe them straight off again, these plastic things.
But maybe we can't say a whiteboard anymore. So are you saying that we very soon we won't be able to say black IPA or white stout anymore?
I don't know. No, just the term itself, blackboard thing. I don't know. This is, like I said, I don't want to stray into weird territory, but I just noted on that. I thought blackboard is such an unusual to hear the word. It was almost like a throwback to my youth, because it's always called a chalk. I've just heard it called a chalkboard now for so many years that I'd forgotten even the term existed. Blackboard. It's weird. It's
been a while since I was near chalk and or blackboard, so I don't remember what they called them in my youth for the life of me. But what I do love on there is the font where they've written blackboard black, and if you look really close, it's in this chalky kind of font where it's trailing off on one side of the of each of the letters, and it just look it's kind of half there and half not. But in trying one of these for the first time, I went, here we go, IPA. Let's see what a black IPA means. It probably just means it tastes more gross, but I was sold. I loved whatever's going on, anything with the darker malts, and you're making and strong? Oh, did you say strong? We're starting with the lower percentage of the two black IPAs we've got, and this one, you can see it right around the corner, 7%. Alcohol by volume in the 473 can, called the extracurricular series. But yeah, so new. It is not on the Schoolhouse website, so I can't look up any information about it. And it just says the beer with class is about Schoolhouse Brewery is on the can. No description of the beer itself. It says it goes great with a hamburger, a hot pepper, or a steak.
I love all of those things. I want them all now with my beer. I've got peanuts, though. I'm going to have to make do with peanuts.
And over here on the Blackboard Black IPA on Untapped, it just said it is an IPA-black or a Cascadian dark ale. And lots of other different ones and people enjoying them. So there's not a lot of information on what this is supposed to taste like. So, I didn't get a chance to talk to the brewers. I was going to go into Schoolhouse today, but I didn't. I was right there.
You've already cracked a beer. You didn't give me a heads up.
Now, I've had this out of the cold room for maybe six to 8 hours.
Okay. So mine was in the fridge. I took it out as soon as I got in from work. It's sort of 5 after 7 this evening. So it's heated up. Heated up. I guess it's heated up. It's not the opposite of cool down. What's the opposite of cool down?
Heat up.
It's heated up.
Warmth.
It's heated up several degrees.
It's regulated itself.
All right, then a little bit. It's cool for sure, but not like it was when I took it out of the fridge. That's some head you got on you there,
Look
mate.
at the science happening in there. Look, you can watch the tiny bubbles make their way down, and everything else makes their way up. But the cooler of that is darker than some brown ales that we've had. But
Well, it's black.
the smell on it is a bit hoppy. And the funny thing here is sometimes we get a porter and it's a hoppy porter and I don't like a hoppy porter. But if someone tells me a black IPA, I will say yes. And honestly, it probably tastes very similar to a hoppy porter. But because you call it a black IPA, I don't know if I like it more or if it's just, if the mix is a bit better or if I'm going and expecting it and therefore it's more palatable. I'm not sure.
I'm like you. Every single black IPA that we've tried, I've really liked. This is if you're going to give me an IPA, make it a black one. Is where I'm going with this. And we've had some IPAs. Don't get me wrong. That we haven't. We've been quite vocal about not loving IPAs, but there just occasionally we do come across a really good IPA. We both nod and say, "Hey, that's really good." And then of course the doubles and the triples usually bowl us over. But the black IPAs have won every single time. So why shouldn't these two?
And I'm excited that you can get them at a few places. Sadly, the other one is from Off Track and they're closing. But I did manage to get in there before their final day.
Really sad.
But if people are if there's more breweries making these, then maybe this is hey, why don't we have a slightly a different flavorful thing? And if you've got a black IPA on tap, woohoo! I'm not even sure if you can you still get the Eclipse out of a Lunds Mill. I'm just gonna go to their basic website here and can I find? I mean, the Maybach is still there, which we still haven't tried. Pub Ale. No, apparently you can't get the Eclipse anymore. God. Oh, wait.
Because they took it away to give you the black IPA.
Oh, they took it away to make more purple grain or whatever. Anywho.
I can't get this all in the glass. The head on it is significant.
Yes.
And I don't think it's going anywhere soon, so I'm going to have to let it sit there for a minute or two.
Yeah, I'm trying to do the same, but also I've got my 16-ounce glasses, and it's not going to fit.
It's really malty, actually, Ross. I'm smelling the foam, and it's really malty.
Mm-hmm.
I almost nose my nostrils right in the foam.
There's hop and there's malt. It is a mix, and I find that maybe everyone's just really good at the chemistry of these ones, or maybe are they just easy to make? I mean, next time we find we have to start getting into the beer kits and figuring out how to do things. But if we ever find a beer kit and it says black IPA, I'm sold. I will definitely give that one a whirl. See how easy and or difficult it is. Because if I could read anything about either of these beers, if I could talk to anybody about this, then it would be my question. It would be, is this an easy beer to craft? I don't know, but I'm starting to get a little bit of chocolate, just even off the smell.
So am I.
Is it my imagination? I don't know. Anyway.
I think it's exactly the same thing.
Heads down about there. Can you get your snifter? Can you get
Go with that.
Round the moustache? Yeah. Charles? Where's Rob?
Roasty.
But not
really.
I'm getting a chocolate and a I cannot.
I'm getting a bit of chocolate.
A little
sweet chocolate.
A little tiny bit of sweet chocolate in there and a little roast as it's going, but it also continues to there's this small wave of there's a bitterness and a hop in there. By the way, I'm still an IPA. I've not gone away. I'm still there. But I could drink these all day.
I don't get that. If someone put this down in front of me with a blindfold and asked me what I was drinking, I would go with a very hop-heavy, smooth porter. I would go with, not an IPA at all. If someone said, "Oh no, that's an IPA," I'd be like, "No, it's not." That so the fact that they're saying it is an IPA is just astounds me, because I'm getting nothing but malt and a bitter dark chocolate going on.
Mm.
Yes, of course there's hops, but it doesn't have the profile that I associate with a IPA at all.
No, that
And
single malt, single hop one. I think that's our
yeah,
worst. We finally found it.
I'm happy. I'm happy about that, Rebecca. Just oh, you sure? Okay.
One of the comments when I said we were drinking this tonight, there was a comment saying, "I've really started to I've found some black IPAs and there's some good ones out there." And it's not that every brewery doesn't have a black IPA. You're not comparing lagers. It's only a few of them are doing this, and they're all quite good. But to us who are malt and not hop fans,
hop heads.
what would we be? Malt feet? I don't know.
I know it's got to be alliteration. If it's hopheads for the big IPA fans, then
malt maniacs.
Malt maniacs. I like that. Multi-maniac. Maltesers.
Oh, there we go. We're Maltesers.
Yeah.
Because we're sweet and we're round.
Oh no, that's the name of our. We're going to do that then. If we co-brew, you and I, and these tease your appetite, then absolutely we'll call them the Maltesers.
I wonder if we'd get in copyright problems for that.
No, because we'd spell it differently. I don't think teaser has in the Maltesers one has an A in it, does it?
Maltesers teasers.
Maltesers
teasers. We might get away with that. No, I think we're still fine. Maltesers is 2 words. It's not.
Yes.
I don't think there's one there. Except for Maltesers teasers.
I'm loving the way that the head is just sticking to the glass down the side. I love the look of that.
The Malt Teaser by the Tap House Brewery is a brown ale. Malt Teaser by Short Odds Brewing. There's a number of Malt Teaser names.
Okay.
And
you can't use
the Coast down in Halifax once wrote an article called Malt Teaser about Horton Ridge Malt and Grain Company opening up. So the pun has been used.
Never mind.
Oh, well.
Never mind.
I think we can still do it. I mean, you can name it.
Yeah, whatever.
Alternate, or the Walt Disneys.
I knew Schoolhouse Brewery were not going to disappoint, and they have not.
No. Now that I've found the sweet and the chocolatey, I'd like to find it a little easier on subsequent sips. You know what I mean?
Okay. It's roasty to me. I think it's airing more to the slightly roastier coffee. There's a little bit of coffiness to it. A bitter chocolate, and I'm getting a...
The roastiness is turning into the bitterness, the hoppy bitterness for me. So the one that sticks out is that tiny hint, but it's 3 hints. You know, it's like a triangle. It's a hint of hoppy bitter, it's a hint of sweet, and then it's a hint of the roasty. And so the malt is sort of crossed in there as well. But
I love it. I love the bitterness of this. It really is like I used to drink. In olden days, back in Blighty, when I was growing up, when I was a teenager, a friend of mine introduced me to a bitter and Mackeson's. Have you ever heard of Mackeson's Stout? Have you ever heard of that one?
No.
If they still, I would imagine they're still around. Of course, the big ones, of course, are the Beamish Stouts and the Guinness Stouts. But Mackeson's was this little bottle of black as night stout, and I preferred it to Guinness when I was younger. I did, and he used to mix his bitter ale with Mackeson's, and it gave it this really bittery, irony taste, and it was so good. This tastes a bit like that. which is good. Have you found it? You look as if you're...
A little bit. Mackeson's Brewery of Hythe, Kent, first released beer in 1909. They patented it, blah, blah, blah. Brewing at the Hythe plant ended in 68. They moved, and then they closed in 93. They reopened in 99, repurchased in 2001, repurchased again in 2012. In 2012, its ABV was lowered from 3% to 2.8. I now think I understand what your problem is with these 5% beers. Are you saying that you're drinking 2.8? You're drinking 3% beer in the UK and saying, oh, it's too strong. It's too strong, that.
That's right.
It's too strong,
Remember,
that. No, send that back.
16 or 17. No, it was we added it to our beer. But of course, when it said 93, it closed it. I was drinking that when I was about 1984 or 1985, something like that. So you're laughing.
They still seem to be making it. No, I'm laughing because it says there's one of them. They call it Mackeson's XXX. Mackeson's Triple X is brewed for a local market. King of the Night. Guess what the percentage is on that one? The Mackeson, the Triple X. We're talking. This is like amazing.
Crazy. 3.1.
4.9.
4.9. I bet that'll knock your head off.
Blasts off at 4.9.
Yeah, I've been saying this for a time now that Canadian. When you say, "Oh, it's only a 5% beer or something," it's a weaker. I'm like, no, this is not weak beer. This is strong ale. Stop it.
The best line comes from an Adam Sandler comedy movie called Big Daddy, where he decides to adopt a small boy that shows up on the doorstep. It's a better movie than it sounds. But the character, Jon Stewart of Daily Show, comedian, political humor fame, he plays Adam Sandler's friend, and he's trying to come up with what happened and where this child came from. And it turns out that he's an illegitimate child of the character Jon Stewart's playing. And Jon Stewart's trying to explain things towards the end of the movie, and he says, oh, right, we went up on that business trip that one time to Toronto. And he looks at his girlfriend, and he says... And we got to drinking that night, and he looks at her and says, you know, Canadian beers like moonshine, and just carries on with the story. And in my mind, that has always held as, I mean, you know, Canadian beers like moonshine when you're speaking to other Americans. That's just what you say.
I agree to an extent because the average beer seems to be significantly higher than the average strength beer that I grew up drinking. Oh, no, not grew up drinking, I beg your pardon. That there is available in the UK. That's not to say, of course, there isn't strong beers in the UK. Of course there is. It's just it's just here. It seems to be if it's less than 5%, it's piss. People turn their nose up at it. Whereas 5% is, I would consider it to be a pretty robust ale if it's 5%.
I think the weakest or the lowest alcohol by volume we had was Two Crows had one called the Tiny Hoppy Pale Ale, and it was something like 4.3. And I was carrying it with kid gloves. Yeah. I was sort of saying, "Ooh, look at that! It's it's only 4.3%."
The problem I think there's a different mindset around drinking beer, because it's not always what I'll say straight up is it's not just about getting hammered as quickly as possible, is it? So when person is going out and having 4 or 5 ales, a session ale, like maybe like the working man finishes down the pit or in the steelworks, and he nips into the pub for about 4 hours before going home and collapsing in front of TV with his wife.
Yep. He's
probably going to have about 6 ales. And they weren't strong. They weren't crazy strong ales, which means it was falling on his ass. So they quite traditionally they would make 3.5%, 4% ales. 4% would be a pretty robust beer as well. So most beers were sort of 3.7, 3.8, and they were full of flavour. Ross, that's the thing. Big malty,
good.
Yes, full of flavour without being crazy strong. So you can only have 2 of them and then start wibbling.
My retort to that, to the beers didn't have to be, weren't strong, so you could go. The only words that I've got to that are, why not? Because when I was in university and all my friends, everyone's going, oh yeah, we're going to the bar tonight. I'm gonna have 6 beer and this and that, and they would go out and try to and drink like 6 Bud Lights. And this seems to be there's an entire industry of country music around, we'll always have a light beer. Oh, go out and drink yourself a case of Bud Light. And I think, why? Why drink a case of Bud Light that costs $30 when I can drink two of these coming in at about, $7 each? I'm way happier. It didn't take me as long. If you're drinking a case, and where you said people aren't trying to get smashed, this is my issue. It seems like they are. It seems like people said, we're gonna go out tonight and get crazy drunk. Let's go drink lots of light beer. And I think you're not seeing the efficiency here that could take place.
Some people do. It's horses for courses. So if you really want a nice, strong, like full body flavored beer with your Christmas dinner, then get one. And it's going to be 8.6, and it will be full and rounded and tons of flavor, and you'll feel it afterwards. But you're not going to want to go out for the evening and drink 10 of those. If you're going out with your buddies, and of course I think there's got to be you pick and choose the beer for the circumstance or for the occasion.
That's the other thing, is I will go out and have a 7 or whatever percent Propeller Galaxy. If it was we're going out to the pub with friends. Good, I'm there, and I drink 2. And I pay for 2 beer, and I am feeling great.
Yes.
I'm not going out and buying 10 light beers, costing me anywhere from $50 to $75 probably in this day and age.
Yeah,
what was that? Remember that picture? Was it the Peter Gabriel concert where you saw the Bud Light was $17?
Was it Bud Light? I can't remember. I took a photograph and I posted it to you.
I'm sure it was a light. Oh, we had a good laugh at that one.
I think it's called Light. Yes, I think it was. I think you're right. I think it's $17 for a can, not even a draft flow. It was a can of like 330, whatever it is that's in a can. It was unbelievable. But of course, Coors is sells, I'm pretty sure, on marketing alone, because if anyone can seriously, hold their. Oh my God, Coors Light is such an awesome beer.
I like it because it tastes the best.
It tastes great, yeah, because there's nothing to compare with the flavor. So I'm sure it's just an amazing marketing strategy that Coors have managed to corner a certain clientele market. That thing about, remember, what was that thing they did when they when it was at a certain temperature, the can changed color and the icebergs all kind of went all nice.
Yeah. One of the Coors Ice or one of the Coors things did that.
Yeah.
The only time that I need a lighter, that I would say a light, and to me, a 5% is a lighter beer. That's when, if I'm going out to mow Central Park, which is, my lawn takes me a long time because it's big and I have a small mower. But after every hour, and it takes me 3 hours, after every hour I drink just a 355 can of Toller Gold. Take a little break, get my sweat back, replenish my fluids and whatnot. I also drink some water, because I don't think I could have a 7% Black IPA every hour. That wouldn't be a thing. But for going out and going and spending time with friends, this show is the fastest I drink, easily. When we go through a can sometime, 20 minutes, 25 minutes, because we're trying to, we got to get through it. Let's go and move on to the next one. But when I'm out with friends, I'd be here after about an hour or so. I don't know, sip, 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 sip. I've got a 6-7% beer here, and I am just happily. Maybe it's because, and you might not believe this, I'm a talker. So. When we're sitting around the table at the pub, I need something that I only need to take about 8 sips of over the course of an hour, because I'm busy telling stories and doing stupid stuff. So maybe that's why I either consciously and subconsciously head towards the stronger things. I need something to just, here's a quick zip, here's a quick zip, here's a quick zip, and woo! Whereas other people, the strong but silent types, I need something to constantly just glug, 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 finished. glug, 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 so that you're just constantly putting that in you. I can't be bothered going to the bathroom that much.
2 points coming out of that soliloquy that you just had. It was bigger than Macbeth. The first point is I've slowed down too. I'm 56 years old. I don't drink like I used to. I can't drink like I used to. I remember my dad saying to me like 20 or 30 years ago, I can't drink like I used to. I thought, well, that's a good thing because he could drink. So I understand there. So 2 or 3 pints, good beers. You take your time over. You enjoy them. You don't just throw them down your neck because you're not 20 years old and trying to get drunk as quick as you can.
Yeah.
Second point is this. On the Toll of Gold, you just mentioned that we were talking about that only today at work with a friend of mine who happens to also really appreciate Toll of Gold. And like this, it's on. The reason why he brought this up was because it's on sale in the liquor store. How much on sale? He went, I think it's $26 for the regular box. I'm like, really? That's like, because it's normally 30, 31, is it not?
No.
Selling it. No, am I wrong?
No, it's usually around there. Hang on.
26? No. Is it really?
Yep.
Well, sorry,
hang on. Let's peek see at this one. $26.59. It is save $2.20. So I guess it went up to $20.28.
Right. And I mean, look, it's only a couple of bucks, and but I still can't believe that beer is not a little more expensive. But you introduced it to me and several other people, I'm sure, around your fire pit down the years. And it's a lager. And I'm like, I want a lager. What do I want a lager for? It's the best lager in Nova Scotia. I think we both agree on that. It's just what it is. But the fact that it's only $26 when aforementioned Coors Light equivalent, whatever it is still going to be $30 or $31, and it's 4% and tastes like yours and my piss after drinking Toll of Gold.
A couple of these. I think I know I've mentioned this at least 5 or 6 times. It is the cheapest, and it's a 5.0, so it's cheaper than Bud Light, it's cheaper than Coors Light, it's cheaper than Keith's in the can for a 12-pack. It is cheaper than all of them and tastes the best. I don't understand.
Is it on sale? The only thing I mean, why do companies normally say, okay, we need to drop the price on this a little bit? Normally, it's because it ain't selling. Usually, I'm not an economist. But I believe that's the way it goes. Which is why gas is like 185 right now, because there's tons of it shifting, and they need to. Yeah. So as a result, they take advantage of it. When something isn't moving, they drop the price of it. Why would they be dropping the price of Toll of Gold, which for us is the best craft lager available?
A case of Bud Light lager is $30.99.
Yeah.
$30.99. So Toller Gold 5.0 is $26.20, and it's $2 off. So even at regular price, it's $28. So you're still saving at least $1 a case. And $1 a case for 12 isn't a big deal, but the fact is it's cheaper. It is actually cheaper. Bush Lager. Oh, that's a case of 15. There's a case of 8 Bud Light. Load more. Keep giving me these ones. 15-pack. Everything's 15-pack. Coldstream Clear Lager is 29, so it's up there. Coldstream Clear. Coors Lager 12-pack, $33.
Unless it's a marketing strategy by Burnside. Used to be Stillwell. What was it? Stillwell? Yes. Burnside. Is it not that maybe they're thinking, if we drop it by a couple of bucks, I think we're going to maybe introduce more people to it? Because if everyone's now recently, of course, we had that little hoik again on the tax on alcohol in the liquor store, which didn't seem much at the end of the day, like 9 cents on a can, whatever it is. But of course, over more units sold, obviously that really adds up. But if they then drop their prices by a couple of bucks, it might just draw some new punters toward their beer that are like, oh God, we now got to pay $32 for a case of Coors Light or a Bud Light, and yet there's this thing over here that's 5%. Well, let's give it a go. And if they're like you and me, and they go and they drink one of these and think, oh my God, what is this? This is so good. Why have I not even known that this exists?
The only oh no wait PBR Pabst Blue Ribbon is the same price. Painted Boat Pale Lager is the only thing that's slightly cheaper than Toller Gold. Prime Lager from Propeller. So all of the craft beer ones, Good Robots in there, and it's at 28, so it's not on sale right now, but it's in there. Nine Locks is 28, and the other ones, Moosehead, Molson Canadian, the sickest, most disgusting fluid that we could find in the LC. Molson Canadian 12-pack of cans, $30.99.
Why do I never see? I see any time I go into a liquor store, and I see someone walking out with a pack of beer. With a pack of beer, Ross. I'm not talking about craft ales. I don't think. If it's happened so unusually that I don't remember it. Yes, I see people walking out with Coors all the time, with Keith's all the time, with Bud all the time. I can't really think of occasions where someone's walking out with a box of Molson Canadian.
That's true. And I've only ever done it once in my life, and that's because they included a Stanley Cup winner ring, and I was trying to get the right ring. It was, really nice, good quality, cool Stanley Cup championships ring from previous year. And the only problem was I had to drink a case of Molson Canadian.
Maybe, of course, this is Canada's got 35 million people in this country, maybe more. I don't know nowadays, but maybe that Molson Canadian doesn't sell by massive quantities out here on the East Coast. Maybe across other parts of Canada, maybe it's more popular.
Let's just blame Alberta. That's fine.
Blame Alberta. I would not pay $31 for a case of Molson Canadian flat at all. Ever. Ever.
My fantasy is going and buying a case of Toller Gold and setting up shop, buying it, going just outside, setting up a little table and pouring out little samples, and everyone who comes out with a case of beer that is not Toller, I will say, here, try this. I want to cure everybody. It's my ultimate goal / fantasy thing that I want to cure everybody and get them drinking the right stuff that would taste much, much better. I'm not sure what else to do. But yeah.
Things that come out of that little soliloquy then. One, I think your fantasies are very modest. I have way more crazy fantasies than that. Secondly, I've finished mine to a degree because I'm leaving this little bit. Yeah, good. That monster in the off-track bottle beckons. It's slightly scary.
But what did we think of the Schoolhouse? Honestly, for a black IPA, it could have been a little smoother and it could have been a little sweeter. I think I might have to give it some low 8s. Like an 8.2, maybe an 8.3.
For what? For a black IPA or for a beer?
It's not my favourite. It's not my favourite black IPA. I don't think so. And I'm seeing the words bourbon barrel on this next one, so I'm kind of thinking that we're going to skyrocket.
I really, really liked it. Really, really liked it.
Where I need to make sure of my judging, I like the style. This might not have been exactly my favorite of the style. It's a great style. Oh my God. If you served me that at most of the pubs that I usually go to, whew, yes, please. But
yes, it has a hint of coffee, I think, a hint of coffee, but it wasn't always there for me. There is some bitterness, like a really, really dark chocolate, like a 90% chocolate going on there. I love bitter chocolates, by the way. The really sweet ones, the 50% ones, are too milky for me. I like a really bitter, like I'm just taking the chocolate off the tree, the cacao. Now, what I got a little bit of. Who was it? Is it Oh, blimey. Keith's. They do a small batch. What's the damn name of it? Something in cacao. What is
The
that?
cacao stout. The something. Yeah, what is that? I think it's just the
What?
cacao stout. I was at a wedding 2 weekends ago and they had some cans and I drank myself a couple of those stout. And the funny thing was they were hiding those cans down beneath everything, but I caught sight of it. I was like, "Oh, is that the cacao stout? Give me that." And because everyone had been walking around with these golden things of, "Oh, yes, I'm having a moose head or whatnot." And then as soon as I came out with this frothing thing, some other people at the wedding, they were like, how,
What's
give,
that?
I want that. I want whatever he's drinking, and it started catching on once he started letting everybody know.
And you were like, oh yes, this is from a little brewery called Alexander.
You
They're in
you may not have heard of it.
Halifax.
It's a little
You may not have.
small Nova Scotia craft beer, which I would have known of because we host a little podcast about Nova Scotia craft beer. Here's my business card.
I just got a little screen pop up on my phone saying, "Your phone is too hot. To
Mine,
let it cool down, close the multi windows." I've never
mine
had
did that earlier today, but I was laying in a sunbeam with it on my chest, and it turned itself off. It was too hot. My phone.
I've never had that. Mine's sitting atop about six DVDs and a big upturned bucket on the table. There is no reason at all that it should be overheating. But
Is the top DVD Heat, starring Al Pacino and Robert De Niro and Val Kilmer?
great movie. I have that on DVD. I was just mentioning this one.
Keep it far from your phone.
Yeah, absolutely. If I've got that movie, I haven't got. Maybe I'm getting the residual effects from Netflix in the background. Maybe Heat's on there. This does have a hint of that, but of course that is a stout. This is not a stout. Apparently, this is a black IPA.
Mm-hmm. So we got to think of the other the other black IPAs we've had, and where it falls on that scale. And I'm fairly certain I've had smoother. I think this one is missing a sweet and a smooth. It's by no means bad. It's just not quite as super cranked up as I thought it might be.
Well, I really, really like it, and of course, it's a session ale because it's only 7%, so it's not as strong as the other one. I'll have 3 more of these, please, my lady.
Absolutely. Well, you're in luck.
Really, 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 really good. I love it a lot. I'm going to give it 8.5. It's fabulous.
Oh, okay. It's not often that you score higher than me. You are in luck that you're looking for more black IPAs because we have from the Bourbon Barrel series of off-track brewing you can say it's kind of all reflective down there. The writing of this one is very difficult to make out, but it's called the Remarkable Dark Black IPA, and this one is an 8.6%. It also does not say anything about itself on the bottle, so I wandered over to the internet and I found The Remarkable Dark by Off Track Brewing, black IPA, barrel aged for 9 months in Maker's Mark oak barrels. So Mark, I guess, was the is the brew master, and he had some oak barrels and he aged it for 9 months.
Good for him.
And that's it. That's as much as we get off of this one, other than the fact that Off Track is closed and you probably can't get this anymore. But
that's the
with them closing, I don't know if I told you this story. Here's my Off Track pint glass because I heard they were closing, so I went in and I said, "Do you guys have any glasses for sale?" And they said, "No, we're out again." And I went, "Oh, that's too bad." And they said, yeah. And so, they're basically selling the ones that they're giving to people in the restaurant, that they're giving to people in the tap room. So he says, "Yeah, when we get down lower and lower towards the end of the month, we'll be selling off them, in batches as we go, because we'll be getting fewer and fewer." And I just went, and I don't know if I gave him the puppy dog eyes or something like that. And I said, "Oh, we're up in the valley. I'll probably come down." I said, "Would you be able to let me know, or is there some way that you would know when that?" He says, "No, we don't really know when that might happen." And eventually he just takes pity on me and he says, you know what, just buy this one. You can buy this one. And it's got, I don't know if you've been in Patty's on a really good night, but it's got the scratches in it, you know, from the being washed 1,000 times. So this is a tap room glass. I almost covet this more than a brand new glass that I would buy off the shelf.
Like one of the ones you would find in Value Village on their shelf, which has been very heartily used. This is a massive shame about Off Track. I mean, yeah, I was in there. We picked up half a dozen stubbies. It must be a year, eh? Oh, I don't know. And of course, theirs was the Illuminati, wasn't it?
Yes, the peanut butter stout. Oh. I will if as a brewmaker, if you make a peanut butter stout, I will love it till the day I die, and never ever forget.
Though, everything I bought that day was all in little stubby things. This is not a little stubby thing. This is a full-grown adult beer bottle. This is a big, and
it's a 500 ml. So this is a little bit more than the 473 that we usually get in the cans, and I have a bottle opener. So we pop that. And this is new to our inventory. Just got it kind of recently. Oh.
You did.
Oh, dear. Well, that smells like 8.6%. I'll tell you that.
Oh,
that
God, does it?
Whew, that is a... That's just a smoky whiskey is what we've got right there. That's just, oh my! All right.
This is a 500 ml. Maybe this should be in a 220 or something like.
I feel like they should probably have maybe put these in the 355 ml cans or smaller. Those I wanted to call them the wee tiny Coca-Cola ones. You know the ones where they're like the extra small Coca-Cola glasses. Because you got to be careful drinking too much Coca-Cola. But holy cow, an 8.6 Black IPA, get it in you. Again, the cooler remains thick as she mad tick. Look at that. That is just
it's in the glass.
Dark as the sun. Wait, no. Whoa! that is pungent. That is.
I was about to say, do you remember? Of course you remember. That when you had Kelsey on and we were opening those barrel aged
the Black
Russian Imperial stouts from that. Yeah. I think yours was even stronger than mine. I think yours was 11.5% or something. I think mine, whatever the hell it was.
But it smelled like a chocolate bunny. It didn't smell like this. This smells like booze. This is burning my nose hairs.
Very boozy.
There's some
Although, I believe I've got the correct glass because look at that.
Well done.
Whole damn 500 into a glass.
I feel like I've got half of mine still in this dang bottle.
Oh.
Oh
my goodness, Ross. Oh, the smell is off the scale.
It is. This reminds me of nights when I go over to Patrick's house and he gets me to drink these exotically aged whiskeys. Okay. Did we discuss what was? Yeah, okay, we discussed what was in this. This feels like I don't know if it's possible an imperial black IPA. I mean, if you're talking aged in a bourbon oak cask. I mean, they don't do this to your 4.3 lagers, do they? You don't get a 4.3% lager aged in an oak cask for 9 months, but
I wish I could bottle the smell for later, just to stick it under the nose of my friends and say, here, have a sniff of that.
Just sniff that. It's a tiny amount of raisin, but just boozy. This is boozy.
It's like a liquid Christmas pudding that's been drowned in brandy. That's what that smells like. My God,
it does smell more like brandy, doesn't it? Or like a pot still. Oh, no, wait. There's something.
Well, that's
wine.
probably the saltiness with the sweetness is giving it that kind of.
Oh.
It's amazing smell. I don't want to drink it. I do not want to drink this. I just want to spend the evening sniffing it.
I don't want to drink it for a completely different reason. This actually, it's putting me off. Okay, all set. Let's have a few mouthfuls of this.
I'm going to sip it at first.
Okay.
So I really. Cheers.
Cheers. Oh my God.
Whoa.
I don't trust them that this is only 8.6%. This tastes like a shot of brandy.
Goodness me.
Whew.
Who's driving home? Have we got the designated driver here?
You remember how we said the other one has hints of the IPA in that hop flavor?
This has none.
This is none of that. None of it. No smokiness, no caramel, no sweetness. This is a glass of brandy.
It's got no hop. It's got no hoppy profile whatsoever.
No, this is just booze. This is do you get the feeling we're closing next week? What should we do with all this swish we've got left over in these oak barrels? Chuck it in those big bottles over there. Oh, but we've never used the big bottles, Tam.
May I ask a question? And you probably won't remember. I know it's vulgar to talk about money, but how much did this bottle cost?
Oh, you know what? I do not remember, and I never keep track.
I don't either. I'm just thinking this is, I mean, just for the alcohol content alone, I think this should be up there in the kind of liqueur region, $22-23 for a bottle of liqueur.
This is the strongest tasting thing. We have had triple IPAs that are a couple more percentages higher than this. Facts. Kier's favorite, Facts, does not taste as boozy as this. They went.
Propeller Nanaimo, the Nanaimo by Propeller is 10. That doesn't taste as boozy as this. That just tastes like a big, sweet chocolate cake. Yeah.
This takes effort. This is taking effort to drink. And I wanted to enjoy it a lot more. I don't think I'm enjoying it. It's tasty. I think. Is it tasty?
It's a full on.
What is this?
I don't know what the you know when you go into a bar in Scotland and you bypass the 60, the 70, the 80, the 90 shilling, the 100 shilling, the 110 shilling, the 120 shilling. This is a pint of heavy taken to 11.
I think you're right because the heaviness, it's thick. You can taste the body, and maybe that's the difference. Instead of just drinking a straight glass of brandy, which it tastes like, it's a straight glass of brandy. If it were in like a glass of Sprite, I don't know, something where there's a thickness and a flavor to the rest of it, where it doesn't just taste like fire water. Oh, this is one of the weirdest things we've ever tried. This is just bourbon juice.
It's unique. I've never tried a beer as like you say as boozy tasting as this.
No.
We've had doctor ales, but this takes it. It's like the smell of it. Is like we've just put your head in a barrel of whiskey.
Yeah.
That's not that. I don't know how on earth would you even think of marking this, Ross? Because what do you have to compare it with?
Well, I have to compare it with our other uh, that thing that we're drinking, Black IPAs. That's the one. Oh boy, it Black IPAs are a delightful mix which combine the three things that we talked about. It's our triangle. This smashes the triangle over the head with a bottle of bourbon, pours you 6 shots, and says, "Yeah." So on the I don't even know where this stands on its own, but as a black IPA, it's drinkable, but it's crazy. It's so different, and it's not like what I think a black IPA is supposed to do. And part of me thinks that this was just some final hurrah of here you go. It's the strongest damn thing you can get. I,
Yeah.
I feel like my own personal judgment of this is, and I've barely had about 5 mouthfuls. I've got the rest of this to have. 6.5 out of 10, and I almost feel that's generous.
It's a novelty ale to me. They couldn't think of selling many of these. They must have done one limited run of this. Like you say, it may have been a last hurrah just to get rid of some stuff. And they thought, look, guys, I don't know the story around it, but clearly they wouldn't sell much of this. I mean, who on earth is going to sit there in the off-track pub and say, yeah, I'll have a couple of those? Because you need a taxi after a thimbleful.
Yes.
So you can't. It's so strong.
My
tasting.
nose is running. It's that
Right.
strong. I'm dripping here.
That's the thing. We just said it's 8.6, so it's not the strongest thing you've ever had.
It's not.
It's 3% less than the Russian Imperial Stout that you had, the whiskey barrel aged, but it tastes so much stronger than that.
Yep.
So I don't know. People, you don't drink this by the pint. You drink this. The Belgians have a really good idea with their lambic, their strong beers that they do, the Trappist lambic bitters,
Yeah.
where they sell them in smaller quantities and the way they serve them, of course, in those glasses, and you sip them like a wine or a liqueur as a result. If I've stuck this in my pint glass,
Oh my God.
it almost.
I'm there until close and then an hour after if I'm trying to drink a pint of these. I feel like if I had it in a lowball glass, sometimes I will put a bit of ice and like a flavored whiskey in a lowball glass, and I'll half fill it. I feel like that's what I have to do with this. I think I could have like a little tiny, a bit at a time, 5 ounces or something in a night and move on. It's not the percentage. It's the flavor, the taste, the sharp, boozy alcoholness makes it difficult to drink.
I've never had a beer as boozy as this, ever.
Over here on the internet, where I found the only description that it was aged for 9 months. That's the other thing. I was convinced. What if this was only supposed to age for like 4 months? And they said, "Oi, Tam, what'd you do with that beer you were aging?" Oh Christ, it's still in the barrels. Whoops! And you crack it open and it smells and tastes like this, and you go, "Whoa! All right, don't breathe on anyone after you've had that. Don't sit me too near the candles. The whole place will go on fire." But the comments are interesting. Here we go. Lots of bourbon notes, a little thin. Thin, he says. Thin. I like this one. This has been in my fridge for well over a year. I don't like high alcohol barrel aged beers. I like off-track brewing, but this is not for me.
Okay, it's been in there for a year, so therefore this wasn't a last hurrah.
It
This has
wasn't.
been around for a wee while.
Yeah, so this was posted January, just this past January. So a year and 5 months was when
He does.
this person bought that. Frank McDonald is drinking a
He
remarkable
does.
dark,
Okay, so he doesn't like boozy
boozy
barrel.
bourbon, everything.
And
Plenty
this
of
is
Leah.
this.
We should meet Leah. Leah is drinking one. Plenty of bourbon, thin.
Oh, yeah. Hey,
Thin. Had Sean Winters had more bourbon flavor and malty character than last time I tried this, which made it more enjoyable, but it's full of spelling mistakes, so he definitely finished it. Ooh, there's an interesting one. Smell, I get notes of licorice and oak. I'm actually getting that in the flavor, bit of licorice actually. Now that word is in my brain, I'm getting bits of that. Smells boozy. Taste has some raw oak to it. Too much, actually. It has an aftertaste I can't put my finger on. Menthol? Had high hope for it. I can't swallow the second mouthful.
oh gosh.
Oh, here's some of my favorites. Oh, you're gonna love this bit. Strong green apple flavor that comes out of the bourbon and black IPA flavors. Excellent brew.
A strong green apple. That's interesting. That's a really interesting. No, that's fine. I'm actually searching for that now, and
I am with
in
that licorice person on the licorice.
you know what? I'm when as soon as you said that, I thought that's interesting because a really strong scrumpy in the UK, a scrumpy cider. Look that up if you're not familiar with the term. A really strong West Country scrumpy flavour is very strong, unfiltered, hazy cider. It's strong as balls, and it's got a real earthy.
Oh, okay. If it's like an earthy cider, yeah,
Yes.
I can almost get those parallels. But what we're drinking is it's bourbon beer.
Yeah, but you know when apples, really strong apple cider,
Mm.
it has that. Oh God, it's very difficult to explain it unless you've really had a very, very strong, unfiltered, scrumpy cider, rough as it comes, and that this is the kind of strength you'll get as well with a rough, scrumpy cider, and it's got that kind of wowness to it that this is giving me. I kind of get that.
I'm in the Annapolis Valley, so I get the smell a lot. And I grew up on the South Shore, and a number of my friends, there was always lots of crab apples, and we ate ourselves sick on crab apples every summer because we're stupid. But the smell of apples falling and rotting in the ditch,
Absolutely.
rotted apple ditch.
Yeah.
I get that.
Yes, I get that too.
I think I'm getting a bit of that.
I like it.
No, you don't.
I like that.
You
do
not.
It is fermenting, and it's going to be strong, and you've got to be. It's going to put hairs on your chest when you drink that stuff.
Oh my
And
God.
that Lynn that said this was a bit thin. She must have the hairiest chest of any woman living in Nova Scotia, because if this is thin for her, I can't imagine what she thinks is a full-bodied beer.
I wish I had an anecdote to back that up, but nope, she's probably got the hairiest chest in Nova Scotia.
Possibly, I don't.
I'm trying to think of
I,
my own
I
examples
can't-
of do I have anyone that could make a challenge for the hairiest woman's? No. I don't know a single person that could challenge for the hairiest chest of a woman in Nova Scotia. And yep, I'm not calling anybody out. No. Quite happy with that.
How much have you got left? I've got
way too much. This will take me the remainder of the night because I'm going to try to be coherent for my family for the next little bit.
I'm going to go back and drink the other one.
That's an excellent idea. Remind us of what beer actually tastes like at this point, because holy cow.
The other one smells quite good. The other one smells quite good.
Oh, yep. Right. Finish off the old Schoolhouse.
Yeah, I really like that. Really like the Schoolhouse.
Look at that. Tastes like a beer.
Yeah.
That tastes like a black IPA. I'm a little sad that I gave that such a low score, but yeah, I'm gonna stick to it and say that it needed a little bit more sweetness. But this off track monstrosity is just, oh man, you need to kind of hate yourself to chug one of these, right?
I think it might be the death of them. I think they might close off the back of this. If that...
this is the one that finished them off. Guys, we got a great idea for a beer. Nope.
I will go the other way with you. I would never want another one. I would want another one, but hang on. I'm just coughing because I'm breathing fine.
Yeah.
I would want my friends to experience this. Just to say, if you think you've had a really unique bourbon barrel-aged beer, the most boozy beer you could possibly imagine, just take a couple of swigs off of that. I think it's really nice that craft breweries can try to do really unusual and out there beers. It's not particularly drinkable.
No.
But it's but experimenting is what it's about, is it not? Because otherwise, like you said, you get Molson Canadian or Coors Light. In which case,
whoa. You don't get to tell me that if people aren't making this is moonshine of craft beer. If someone doesn't make this, all we're gonna get is Molson Canadian. No, shades of gray. We are shades of gray. So many we are 50 shades of gray between this and a Molson Canadian, and I will drink those 50 shades of gray till the day I die.
Right, because if this is the 50th shade of gray and Molson Canadian is the first shade, there are all those varieties in between.
I recommend those other 48. The lower 48.
If this is the extreme, I'd like people just experience it and say, "Wow, I don't want another one, but at least I've been up. I've been up Everest. I've seen the view. It's crazy, and I was lightheaded after it, but at least I've experienced it."
You say that, and I feel like as quote unquote professional beer drinkers, if we can consider ourselves that, I have tried stuff where I said, "Ooh, wow, that's gross." You did it right. That tastes like, yeah, you said a coconut porter. That tastes like a coconut porter. I never want to drink it again for the rest of my life. I've done that. This is on a whole nother scale of human, not quite suffering, but certainly you say I would want my friends to experience this. No, there are a number of beers that I've tried to get my friends to experience. Roofhound did one a few years ago called the Star Anise.
No, they still do.
Oh, good.
Isn't that still
the licorice stout?
Yeah,
and
Star Anise.
And I buy one, and I poured a little bit for my friend, saying, "Try this. Make sure that it's licorice flavor." And they go, "Oh yeah, gross. Yeah, I couldn't have that." And I said, "Yep, there you go. They've made a Star Anise." I don't think I would give this one to my friends and say, "You have to experience this." I honestly think we have to jump on this particular grenade and say, don't do it. Unless,
well,
if
favor,
you...
they folded their entire brewery. It was just really sad.
Yeah, if you really, really like bourbon and brandy mixed together with, I mean, some sort of hop malt solution, something, then come round to my house and finish the last of this pint, because I'm gonna struggle. I'm gonna struggle to. It's not undrinkable because it's not tasty. It's undrinkable because it's boozily strong.
Yeah.
We made it through the Propeller Leviathan. The 11%. We were like, yeah, give that up. This one, I think it stayed in the cask too long. That's all I've got. It stayed in the cask way too long.
Well, I'd like to, like I said, I'd like to be able to pour thimbles of it into, and then keep it there for a wee while, just to let my buddies sample it and smell it. I give it 7.5, but I don't know what of, because if this is a black IPA, I didn't even know what a black IPA was anyway, because I don't understand the whole
Not this.
this crossover
It's
beers of
not this noise.
no. The Schoolhouse is
We have
really
never had a night where you rate both of them higher than me. You liked both of them more than I did. I was, I didn't want to rate the Schoolhouse too high because I feel like I've had smoother. And then this noise was just a glass of brandy.
This is a straightforward, strong Christmas ale for me.
You give all your friends a little tumbler, like a quarter of a tumbler of this, and I feel like ooh, then that, honestly, dessert beer in the tiniest amount possible, not this 500 milliliter noise. I don't know what the heck they were thinking with this one, but dessert beer with a really rich fruitcake, yeah. I can envision this being good.
Good. That's it. That's where this would have been good, but they've closed down. If this is supposed to be the Star Wars special, is this the Death Star?
It is. We have been destroyed. We, as the Death Star, have been destroyed by many Bolians whose lives were lost on... I can't remember the original one. So, yeah, Yavin 4, where the second Death Star was destroyed. Do you want to be the first Death Star or the second one? Do you want to be You can be the first one, which was all nice and pristine, and I'll be the second one, which was like those bits hanging out and it's not quite finished.
Oh, I'll totally be the first. I'm happy with that. Right. That's the only one I really emote with.
Because that's the one that had Grand Moff Tarkin on it. So yeah,
it's a new beginning from us. A new beginning is one of the 3 greatest cinematic experiences of my entire life. It was the first great cinematic experience of my life.
A New Hope.
A New Hope. Bless you. I was 9 years old. I had no idea. Is that the off track coming back up? I hope not.
It's just
sneezing.
Well, I don't know. All I know is I'm apparently sneezing on. Yeah.
I was 9 years old, and sitting there in a Leicester Square in London, which is very famous for its cinemas, the Odeon or the Empire in Leicester Square. I can't remember where it is. And I'm a little boy, and I'm looking at that star. What's it called? Starship, the destroyer, come over the screen. Once the words are gone.
The Star Destroyer, yeah.
Star Destroyer, right? And I'm like, this is incredible. I mean, I'm tiny, but sci-fi, big sci-fi movies were amazing when you're that age. and that was the first one that made me fall in love with the actual cinema theatre. And there were two other great experiences after that, and they're both sci-fi stroke mythical movies. Could you try to estimate
I don't
or get
want to
my?
assume Alien, the first one.
I'm going to give you a year. Not Alien, but it's a wonderful movie. I've got that on DVD too. I'm going to give you the year. I'm talking about cinematic experiences, by the way. They're not necessarily the greatest movies ever.
Okay,
It's
okay,
just that
okay, okay.
I was like completely in love with cinema. The next one happened in 2003.
Oh.
Um, and it's a legend, myth and magic kind of thing. And the first one I saw in 2001 of this, I thought, I'm a bit disappointed. But by the time it got to 2003, when the third one I watched on the cinema, I was I was like a child. I was like me again at 9 years old, going, amazing.
Return of the King?
Absolutely, The Return of the King at the cinema bowled me over. I was like a child all over again. I thought
Really?
that's the most interesting. Yeah, and yet I'm not a Lord of the Rings fan per se, but as a piece of cinema, I thought it was unbelievable.
Much like with most trilogies, the middle one is often regarded as the best, and I will covet the Two Towers and the Battle of Helm's Deep forever. Gloss over all the nonsense of the other stuff, but the Battle of Helm's Deep made that movie just it that was the one that made it for me. Because when they got to the battle for Gondor and not Osgiliath, what was the capital city there? Not Minas Tirith.
I did say you're the nerdiest white man in the alive, so you would be telling me this now because I don't know.
Was it Minas Tirith?
I'm not.
Anyway, so when they had all the armies and the battle and the war was happening with 10 times the combatants that were in the second movie, where there's just a CGI. It was a much smaller skirmish, but there was something about the way that movie was made, where the tension and the odds and the stakes were so much higher, that made the Battle of Helm's Deep cinematically so much better than the big war in Gondor ever. Because the war, I'm sitting back going, yeah, there's 10,000 orcs over there and 10,000. Who wins? Whatever. I know it couldn't quite zero in for me.
I thought that about the third Matrix movie. Not Revolution. Revolutions, yes, it was, which was so ridiculously over the top and CGI heavy that I hated it in
Yeah.
in every fiber of my body. I hated it. However, the third great cinematic experience of my life occurred. And it's not, again, not the greatest movie ever, but just as a piece of cinema, it moved me so much that, again, I was like that 9-year-old kid again watching Star Wars for the first time.
Was this? Were we talking about Avatar? Have we had this conversation?
You are bang on.
And you loved Avatar.
I adored Avatar when it
almost put me to sleep. I thought it was a yawn fest, but I watched it way too late. Way too late. The movies that I was going to in my youth, where my eyes were like, this is outstanding, were Toy Story 1.
Yeah.
I was like, more! Give me as much of this. And the funny thing is, on the Star Wars side of things, where you mentioned you saw the first one at 9, I was probably close to that age. Maybe it must have been 10 or 11, because when it came out, Return of the Jedi came out, and I wasn't allowed to go see these movies in theater because I was too young. But I was over at a friend's house. I was playing at a friend's house, and they had, what was it called? First Choice Super Channel was the name of the movie, the cable movie network that you got all the new movies and stuff on. And it was showing Return of the Jedi, and I had never seen anything before. And they were in that initial scene in Jabba the Hutt's palace, and the Rancor comes through, and he's after Luke, and then the door closes shut on his neck because he forces a rock against the door handle. And that honestly traumatized me for at least 6-7 years. I hated that movie. I hated it. I hated it so much. It remains my least favorite Return of the Jedi, or is my least favorite Star Wars movie because it gave me nightmares when I was a child.
1983. Did you? You're 40. Did you not notice? Because while you were then around about the 8 or 9 years old, I was 15 or 16. I was 15. And in fact, you were somewhat younger than that, actually, mate. If it was the Return of the Jedi,
it took a while to come over to the Super Channel, so it was out of theaters and it was into the TV and the cable, and I was over at a friend's, so it must have been.
I was 15 and watching Carrie Fisher dressed not much.
Yep.
Therefore, that was there were certain feelings that I was getting about that movie, completely unattached from the first movie. Like, wonderful. But I loved that first trilogy so much, which is why when the second one came up, that CGI thing from the late 1990s.
99. May 19th, 99 was when episode 1 came out.
Okay, well, I went to see the cinema. I went to the cinema and watched all 3 of them and hated them all. There is a fantastic sketch, a comedy sketch by Patton Oswalt. If you haven't seen it, please look it up.
Is that the one where he filibusters on Parks and Rec and explains how to make those movies better?
Oh, maybe, but I've only ever seen his stand-up when he's talking about the CGI shitfest that is episodes 1, 2, and 3 from onwards.
Close,
it is
along
so funny. It's so funny. Check it out later. This is
strong.
This is the most remarkable whiskey barrel aged beer I've ever had. I don't love it, but I'm glad I experienced it. Is what I'm saying.
You will tell everyone to drink it. I will tell everyone to avoid it.
Okay, fair enough. I'm out of here.
So don't bully your bits. It's good. You done fine. You aged some beer in an oak cask and maybe a wee bit too long. Off Track and Schoolhouse Brewery. A big thanks to Ian for being here this week, and we're back here every week. Next week, Tuesdays at 8 p.m. here at youtube.com/@drinknsdry is the live channel for that. And you can download the podcast at podcasty places everywhere, except apparently Google is getting rid of theirs and moving it over to YouTube, and I'm trying to make that make sense. So get your podcast where you get your podcasty things and continue listening to us however you can. Yeah, that's it. Stick it to the man. What am I talking about? I don't even know. And join us again next week as we're here live at 8 p.m. Same old place. You can also check out the direct feed at drinkns.unsupervised.beer. Hey, there's some percentage in these beers, but that's cool. And, good night, everyone.